can dodge bullets, baby.
This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable.
There it is! Doyle's done it! This is the greatest tournament in the world!
From a field of nearly 7,000, just 79 remain.
A lot more poker to play, boys.
And in this battle for poker's ultimate prize, the spotlight shines brightest on one man, Phil Hellmuth.
I don't like the way you play poker.
When last we saw him, he was at his Phil worst.
This is how I lose my money, to some idiot.
Losing chips and his temper.
You are an idiot!
Now his focus must shift to collecting himself and a bracelet. The run for the final table begins.
Yes!
Yeah! Right here, boys!
Tonight, survival is no longer enough.
To you, it's poker, man. To me, this is my life.
Welcome to the World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Line. I'm Lon McCarran, along with Norman Chad. After the fireworks of Day 5, the main event resumes here at the Rio as 79 players are one step closer to the $9 million grand prize.
Look at all them chips you got.
Tiffany Michelle has over $3 million in chips. She and Lisa Parsons each hope to be the second woman ever to sit at a main event final table. Another interesting duo are two childhood friends, Justin Scott and Dean Hamrick. At table 2 is tournament leader Mark Ketteringham with almost 6 million chips. And out in the field is the one-time chip leader, Christian Dragomir, fresh off his big win against and verbal abuse from the man at our featured table, Phil Hellmuth.
The poker brat received a 9-hand penalty for his outburst against Christian Dragomir. Hellmuth appealed. The penalty was overturned, so Phil starts day 6 in action.
Phil's dreams of winning a second World Series main event bracelet are still alive.
Little brawl going on here last night. Did anybody read that write-up last night? No?
The 10-4? The 10-4?
Christian Dragomir was very successful playing the 10-4 a couple of times on day 5.
The big re-raise?
No, he didn't move in. If he moved in, I wouldn't have been so upset.
It wasn't a brawl, it was simply Phil stepping out of bounds. Hellmuth excusing himself, but there is no excuse for his tirades.
On the E-Trade financial chip count, you see Tiffany Michelle's chip stack good enough for 4th place. Other notable chip stacks right there. Phil Hellmuth starts the day with 721,000. The top stacks at this featured table belong to Irishman James McManus with more than 2.4 million. About the same total, Kelly Kim from Southern California and Jason Riesenberg from right here in Las Vegas with 2.2 million.
And the international trend we have seen the last few years continues. 1/3 of the remaining players in the main event are foreign-born.
Action on James McManus on the Milwaukee's Best Light Pocket Cam, Queen 6 offsuit.
At 23, he's one of the youngest left in the field, and McManus has a chance to beat Phil Hellmuth's record as youngest main event champion ever.
He raises it to 77,000. Phil Hellmuth looks down at come on, Phil. King Queen offsuit.
I don't know what to do with Phil on. Even if his outbursts weren't against the rules, Phil's wrong. You just don't treat people that way.
He will call McManus's raise, and these two will be heads up to the flop. The flop is Jack 7 Queen. Each pair their queen. Phil has the better kicker. McManus first to act. Makes it 115,000. And Phil with an immediate call.
Phil minding his P's and Q's at the moment.
Turn card, 5 of clubs. No help to McManus, who's way behind. But McManus will bet it. Makes it 190,000. And Phil's right on his tail.
Phil wasting no time telling McManus, I have you in my sights, son.
River cards a king, and Hellmuth earns the check mark. He's got kings up, but there's a 3rd diamond on the board. McManus checks now.
Finally slows down. I gotta believe Phil likes his hand, but he might be worried about those diamonds and the straight draw out there.
He's got chips in his hand.
Oh, I'm not sure you can call. Let me just think.
Phil might be figuring if he bets, McManus will either fold or raise, so maybe he should play it safe.
I pretty much have the nuts, but I'll check.
Phil checks.
Got a queen.
1 pair for McManus, 2 pair for Hellmuth will win the pot.
Well, if Phil had served his penalty, he would have been blinded off 81,000 chips. Instead, he adds 400,000 chips to his stack. Big difference.
A better start to day 6 than an end to day 5 for Phil Hellmuth as he continues his pursuit of World Series history. Johnny Moss, Doyle Brunson, Stu Unger, Johnny Chan. That is the list of players who have won multiple main events, and that's about the only all-time list in which the name Phil Hellmuth is absent, but Norman, he's getting very close to that.
One day he may be #1 in main event titles. The Poker Brat already is top dog in World Series bracelets, final tables, and cashes. Plus, he's the career leader in temper tantrums. What, you think DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak is untouchable? Hellmuth's temper tantrum number is so high, I've lost count.
Phil does claim that he is later ashamed of flying off the handle, yet it does happen tournament after tournament. All right, let's jump to an outer table. We learn that Victor Ramden is all in against Suresh Prabhu. Ramden with a flush draw has the best chance of winning the hand, but Prabhu leads right now with pocket fives after the flop.
Remember, Ramden donates 25% of his poker earnings to charity. He primarily helps children with medical needs in his native Guyana.
And he picks up an 8 on the turn to take the lead.
And now that means Prabhu can only knock out Ramden with one card, the 5 of diamonds.
River's a 9 of hearts. Ramden ends up with a flush. He doubles up and stays alive in this main event. All right, let's go over to table 2. We find some familiar faces sitting there. Las Vegas pro Michael Carroll and the day 5 chip leader, Jeremy Joseph. They are both bystanders to the pre-flop action between Brandon Cantu with pocket aces and the chip leader on the day, Mark Ketteringham, with pocket trays. And here we go to the flop. It is ace, jack, deuce, and Cantu all but finishes this hand with a set of aces.
Cantu, a self-taught poker madman, no training sites, no poker books.
350.
Ketteringham checked, Cantu bets 350. And the biggest stack in the room wants to play big stack poker, raises to $1 million.
Well, Brandon gets re-raised a lot because of his aggressive reputation. Ketteringham trying to bluff him here.
I call.
And Brandon calls. Ketteringham can't like that.
Well, Cantu will play it coy. He's got Ketteringham nailed.
Turn card now, a 5. Ketteringham with a gut shot straight draw.
What do you got left?
That inquiry just might be a ploy to slow Brandon down.
About, like 940.
Ketteringham checks.
He's sitting on just a pair of 3s. He'd need a 4 to make a straight.
Muller.
Brandon with a set of aces moves all in.
Ketteringham can't be long for this hand.
And he does give it up wisely.
Well, you never know what Cantu has. The chip leader picked a bad time there to pick on Brandon.
Cantu's been flirting with a chip lead for a couple of days. He just took a bite out of the biggest stack there. Out in the field, David Chino Rheem is in a pot with Bob Whalen after the flop of 6-deuce-8. Whalen has bet $450,000.
Just trying to figure out if I got the best hand or not.
Well, what else would you be trying to figure out at the moment, Chino? Jeez.
All right, I'm all in.
Chino Rheem pushes all in.
I call.
And Whalen calls.
You got the best hand, sir.
All in call, green.
Let's see what they got. 7-deuce for a pair of deuces for Chino and pocket jacks for Whalen.
Well, Chino tried to muscle up on the shorter stack. What I love about Chino is he's very aggressive, and when it backfires, he just casually moves on.
Chino in deep trouble. Whalen with a prime opportunity to double up. Now the turn card is a 7 and 2 pair for Rheem to take the lead.
Oh, Chino gets very lucky. Now Whalen will need a jack, 6 or 8 to stay alive.
River card is a tray, and that's going to do it. Chino Rheem wins the hand. Whalen, the first player eliminated on day 6.
Chino Rheem living large, getting lucky.
Wow. So Bob Whalen wins over $77,000 for his efforts here in the main event.
Living good, boys. Living good. Playing bad, making moves, living good.
When the good players get lucky, watch out, world.
The 2008 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and in part by WorldSeriesOfPoker.com. Shop WorldSeriesOfPoker.com. Get free shipping on gifts for your poker fan at ShopWSOP.com. The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Main event.
Phil Hellmuth, 11 World Series of Poker bracelets, countless World Series tirades.
The guy can't even spell poker.
Oh, this idiot.
Supposed to be great players. They suck.
And this year, 2 rants stand out above the rest.
How do these players even last this long? idiot players.
Adam Levy was the first to feel his ire.
This kid probably won't last another hour.
If it was like anyone else, I would definitely not be just taking it.
How are they even still in this tournament?
But if it's Phil, it's just more of like a show.
And with Christian Dragomir, Hellmuth took it to another level.
You are an idiot. Buddy, you're an idiot. Worst player in history, and they're cheering.
That made me mad.
You are an idiot.
It's my right to play my cards however I want.
Christian's call of Phil's pre-flop raise with 10-4 at the end of day 5 really pushed Phil over the edge and put him in rare form. Speak of the devil.
I'm sorry. Yesterday, my fault. Sometimes I'm just too much of a jerk,
No,
you know.
no,
So
you're not.
sometimes I'm too much of the poker brat. So my fault. I apologize. Sit down. Don't miss your hand.
I thought.
That's okay. No problem, man. It was my fault. You really didn't do anything wrong. I just I play so hard for 5 or 6 days, and then to have that happen just freaked me out a little bit. But
Even when Phil apologizes, it comes with an asterisk. In Phil's world, it's always about Phil. And hey, I'm sure Adam Levy will get his apology in the mail.
Let's go to table 2 and catch up with Jeremy Joseph, whose pocket queens lost some of their appeal when an ace flop to put Dennis Phillips in the lead. Joseph check called for $200,000 after the flop. Turn card now is a deuce of diamonds. No help to Jeremy Joseph. Joseph checks. Phillips now checks back. River card's a jack of clubs. Ace is up for Phillips. He gets the check mark. But you see 4 clubs on the board, but Joseph's going to bet $500,000.
The 23-year-old has played loose and fast and put a lot of pressure on his opponents. And right now, those $500,000 chips are advertising a flush to Dennis Phillips.
Phillips with 2 pair.
Show me.
Wow, his instincts are right. He makes the call.
Good, tough call from the trucking account manager.
Phillips will take that pot, and it's tough times for the former chip leader, Jeremy Joseph.
That was either a good call or a donkey call, and I wasn't for sure which.
It's a good call when you're dragging in 1.7 million chips.
Out to the field, Tiffany Michelle with a top 5 chip stack, squaring off against Mike Matusow after the river. They had checked the turn.
Tiffany's been running real good the last couple of days.
Matusow bets $225,000.
The mouth bets almost half the pot.
Tiffany Michelle now
2 pair.
makes the call.
Mike.
The turn and river, very good to Matusow. He got his 2 pair.
I was giving it up. If you bet the turn, I was done with it.
So a bit of a slip for Tiffany Michelle, but the news is worse for the only other woman left in the field. Lisa Parsons pushed all in with jacks pre-flop. Owen Crow called with aces. Parsons at risk.
Parsons started the day as one of the 10 shortest stacks in the room, has gotten nothing going, and Tiffany Michelle is an interested third party.
So Parsons at risk, trailing the aces of Crow. And now the flop. Queen 5-5, Crow still ahead.
Crow's aces up are in command. Lisa's got that look. She knows she's about to go home. She needs to get lucky.
Turn card is a deuce, and she needs it right away.
Tiffany Michelle now 1 card away from being the last woman standing. Lisa Parsons needs a jack and a jack only, or her main event is over.
River card is a 9, and Lisa Parsons eliminated in 76th place.
Good job.
A strong finish for the amateurs' first main
I
event.
think that's me. I think I'm it.
You're always it, baby.
I guess there's no real traveling sisterhood here.
Next year.
Let's hope so.
So Tiffany Michelle, now the last woman standing, and the pressure sits squarely on her shoulders alone to perhaps make main event history. Next Tuesday, the stakes are huge. 27 will begin, only 9 will advance. And on November 11th, the highly anticipated final table. The November 9 will compete for the most coveted prize in poker. The action unfolds every Tuesday at 9 and 10 p.m. on ESPN. Back inside the Rio, Brandon Cantu has pushed all in on the turn with a pair of 9s and a flush draw against David Benefield, who just hit a straight. Benefield had bet $335 on the turn. Brandon re-raised all in.
I don't think I can bet fold. I call.
So Benefield calls. He is at risk.
Cantu again here with a high wire act.
Red card.
Benefield needs to dodge a jack or a club to double up.
River card. is a club, and Cantu hits the flush to knock off the talented young pro from Fort Worth, Texas.
Outplayed again.
Well, he wasn't outplayed, he was out-Cantu'd.
We have seen Brandon knock someone out with 8-5. Now it's a flush on the river to eliminate Benefield.
Well, I'm going to hit the nuts, of course. I mean.
So we take a look at the E-Trade financial chip count, and after that win, Brandon Cantu now in third place. Dennis Phillips is the chip leader. Among notable players, Tiffany Michelle with $3.8 million. Phil Hellmuth over $900,000 right now. All right, let's go back over to our featured table, and we find that James McManus from Ireland has been eliminated in 71st place. It was Phil Hellmuth who made the big dent in his chip stack early in the session, but ultimately Andrew Roskam scored the final knockout. Of course, on November 11th, you can see the Main Event World Championship bracelet awarded to our new champion.
$9 million to the winner. I expect a cut.
All right, action continues now at our featured table. The blinds at 15 and 30,000. Phil Hellmuth. Phil with ace queen offsuit.
What are we going to do with Phil? Greatest record in World Series history, but when he acts the way he acts, what else are we going to talk about?
From the small blind, he will limp in to Alan Kennedy. In the big blind, he has 7-5.
Remember, Kennedy, a Camp Hellmuth grad.
Yeah, and he switched out his signature Phil Hellmuth sunglasses for some reason. Flop is Jack 7-6. Kennedy leads with a pair of sevens.
Now, see, Phil didn't raise Kennedy out. He just got out flopped, and eventually it will be Alan Kennedy's fault.
They both check the flop. Turn card is another 7. Trips for Kennedy, gives him the check mark. Phil, first to act, reaching for chips. We'll bet 40,000.
Well, the world's greatest Hold'em player is drawing dead and leading out.
I'll show this one and let's go to the next hand.
I'll go.
Oh my God.
Kennedy just with a call.
What did I get myself into here? It was such a perfect little trap here. Might have trapped myself.
Phil talking about a trap that is not existent in this hand.
Might have trapped myself.
Alan makes the call.
All right, now the river card is an 8 of clubs. Kennedy already had the check mark. Hellmuth now checks.
Hellmuth gives up on the trapping scam.
Kennedy now with his 3 sevens. That's 80,000. Phil folds his ace queen face up.
That ended abruptly and quietly.
And Kennedy will take his former instructor's chips.
Alan's going to take this
Come on, man. Come on. Just try to trap my buddy from Georgia.
Do you think I'm actually staying in with nothing?
You had
think
to.
I'm staying in with nothing?
You had to. Before the flop, I made you.
Well, hey, you gave me that chance. I mean, damn.
My goodness, almost a civil conversation. See, buddy, you can do it.
All right, Phil frustrated out there. Meanwhile, another battle of the blinds in the field between David Saab and Albert Kim. All the cards are out. Saab just bet 350. Kim announces a raise. He's going to make it $1 million now total.
Aggression meets aggression.
Wow.
You're giving me a walk.
Well, you should have given me the walk. I didn't actually have the option because I'm big blind and you're small blind, in case you don't know that.
You always have the option to fold.
At which point? When you limp into me and so I can check behind? I should just open fold. I call.
What?
Show me a full house.
Here you go.
Kim's got the full house.
He asked to see a full house, and Albert Kim obliged. He should ask to see a bluff next time.
Kim hit runner for that full boat. Meanwhile, Saab rivered a straight that came up second best. All right, let's get our action back over to table 2, where bracelet winner Thomas Keller is now seated. Keller will make his introductions and watch as 3 others at his table with big hands contend for a big pot. After the turn, former chip leader Mark Ketteringham has aces up, but he's going to hate to see Sean Davis with a set of 8s. And then there's Geert Anderson, who is ahead of them both, holding an ace-high straight. Anderson just checked. Action on Davis, who now bets 900,000 with his 3 8s. Now to Ketteringham.
All in.
With aces up, he moves all in. Over $2 million.
Well, Anderson's not going anywhere. At the moment, he has the nuts.
All in.
And Anderson moves all in.
And now Davis has to decide whether he wants to risk everything. He's getting 6-1 on his money. It's a massive pot, but with 2 all-ins in front of him, Davis has to figure his bottom set is no good.
I call also.
But Davis will call. 2 players at risk.
I think I got the worst hand.
Yeah, Anderson and Davis at risk. Davis with the shortest stack.
Gotta have a set. You had to have a set.
Davis would have been left with 1,000,000 chips if he folded. If the board doesn't pair, Anderson will win the biggest pot of the tournament.
River card is a 5 of spades. Anderson will win that 7 million chip pot. Sean Davis eliminated in 69th place.
What a three-way hand. What a pot.
Wow, Ketteringham not knocked out, but certainly knocked down. And Geert Anderson stands alone as the main event leader with over 7 million chips. This Poker Fact is brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. There are over 10,000 ways to make a straight in poker. Indeed, 5 cards line up in many different ways.
The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Main event.
Welcome back to the Rio and the 2008 main event. Let's get right to the featured table and Phil Hellmuth. Phil's got a deuce. Phil has ace-deuce.
Since winning the big one in '89, Phil's made it back to the main event final table only once in 2001. He finished 5th.
A raise to 90,000 to his buddy Alan Kennedy with Queen 10. And Kennedy makes the call.
So the Camp Hellmuth grad will come along with the Camp Hellmuth founder.
Jack deuce 9, Hellmuth pair of deuces, up and down straight draw for Kennedy.
See how Phil teaches that posture at Camp Hellmuth?
They both check. Still a 50-50 proposition. 8 of hearts and a straight hits Kennedy.
Yahtzee for Kennedy.
Hellmuth, though, drawing dead and betting again.
Yeah, the world's greatest Hold'em player, Lon, drawing dead and leading out again.
Kennedy comes along just for the call.
Well, I guess the student learned how to trap at Camp Hellmuth.
River card now is an ace. Phil catches aces up, but that's not going to be good enough.
And that's really not good for Phil. He's been betting with bottom pair, so he certainly might want to bet with aces up now.
175.
And he will, 175,000.
And Kennedy, of course, with the straight. He knows his hand is good unless Phil was on a diamond draw.
I'm all in.
All in.
I guess he doesn't figure it Phil for a diamond draw.
Well, no immediate eruption from Phil.
175 is in.
Here we go, Thomas.
Remember, Adam Levy also had Queen 10 against Phil, hit a straight on the turn, and that caused an eruption.
Either he's got me or he doesn't.
I guess it's still 50-50. He's going to win or lose.
Boy, oh boy. All right.
Phil calls.
We got straight.
Phil makes the call.
Another Queen 10.
Alan rolls up.
Boom, baby.
Hellmuth trying to hold it together.
Has to be careful. He's been warned once already by tournament officials.
Touchdown, Georgia, baby.
Go Bulldogs!
He called a raise with Queen 10 offsuit. The same thing the first day.
Here we go. Line man.
Oh my God in heaven. I guarantee I didn't teach you that at Camp Hellmuth.
No.
This isn't the agony of defeat. This is the agony of being Phil.
Hellmuth eager to give others advice even when unsolicited, but we solicited the advice of top pros to make you a better player in this edition of The Nuts.
Instantly, you would be a better poker player if...
Well, in 10 seconds.
Let's see.
Okay. Go with your instinct. Whatever your first impression is, we'll follow it because it's usually the right one.
There it is! Doyle's done it!
There's no such thing as being too aggressive. You want them to be worried about what you have. You don't want to be the one doing the worrying because that gives you wrinkles.
Real simple here. Play fewer hands, bluff less often.
The only way to become a better poker player is to play more hours.
Maybe stick to the top 10 hands. She called a race with a queen and a 10.
Relax, let the game come to you. The cards are gonna come.
Time! No!
Let the game come to you and you'll be a much better poker player.
I'm a poker player. You just sit there like a nit.
Real simple. When they check, you bet. When they bet, you raise. When they raise, you move all in. Poker's that simple. That wasn't 10 seconds? Oh, man.
My advice to Phil would be go play video poker. No idiots and no bad beats on a video poker machine, but don't forget to bring quarters.
I can't get a penalty. I can't tell him what he really is.
He raises to 100,000.
I can't tell him the truth. I can't say it. They're going to give me a penalty.
Better keep a cork in it. Now we find Justin Scott awaiting his fate. He pushed all in after flopping a pair of nines. Albert Kim called him with pocket aces. Queen on the turn doesn't help Scott.
Justin Scott needs a 9 on the river to stick around.
River card is a 10, and Justin Scott eliminated in 67th place from the main event. Albert Kim gets a little richer. And Justin Scott will go over and say goodbye to his childhood friend Dean Hamrick.
Yeah, man. Get him. I'll be rooting for you.
They both went to the same high school, so now with Hamrick left in, I guess he is the pride of Redford Union High. Back to the featured table. Wonder if Phil has calmed down yet.
Queen and a 10.
Suffering in the corner.
It's just unbecoming of a player of his stature. He needs an intervention.
All right, action at this table begins with Kelly Kim, ace-king offsuit.
Kim finished 398th at the 2005 main event.
He's got an economics degree from UC San Diego. He raises to 100,000. Larry Wright now with Jack-9 of diamonds. Contractor from Montgomery, Alabama.
Wright owns a roofing company called Wright Roofing. Who couldn't see that coming?
All right, they'll go heads up to the flop. Flop is 10, deuce, queen. Queen 10, not a bad hand to play now. Rubs a little salt in Phil's wounds.
The queen 10 is plaguing Phil.
Both players picked up a straight draw. Wright's is up and down. Kim a gut shot, but the higher of the two straight draws. Turn card now is a jack, and that's Broadway for Kelly Kim. Wright with a pair of jacks, but he's drawing dead, and he checks. Kim now, 150,000.
Kim's biggest worry right now might be a flush draw for Wright. Wright does not have a flush draw. Wright's only been playing poker for about a year and a half.
So action on Wright. And Wright's going to push all in.
I call.
And a quick call from Kim.
Larry moves all in.
He shows the ace-high straight. And Wright is drawing dead.
Insta call and an insta elimination.
Kelly Kim will win that pot and knock off Larry Wright from the main event. All that's left is the formality of the river card.
They shouldn't even bother. The dealer's only got so many river cards in his arm.
It's another jack. Wright ends up with trips, but not good enough to avoid elimination in 65th place.
Look at Phil. He looks like his wife left him, his dog died, and the guy next to him called a 90,000 chip raise with queen 10 off.
Phil will look up to see Kelly Kim adding to his stack and becoming a player to watch out for at this table.
The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Main event.
Back inside the Rio, Victor Ramden's all in again, this time against Garrett Beckman, who has the pre-flop lead with jacks. Ramden hoping to get lucky with ace tray of hearts. The flop gives Beckman a set of jacks, but Ramden picked up a flush draw.
Ramden will need a heart that doesn't pair the board or running straight cards.
Turn card does pair the board. A full house for Beckman will end it right there. Ramden drawing dead and eliminated. We wish him continued success with his medical mission for children in his native Guyana. At another table, Tiffany Michelle is in a hand with Ivan Demidov. The river card has just come out. Action on Michelle. And she'll bet 800,000. Demidov from Moscow, Russia. Going to raise. Makes it 3 million total.
Tiffany has pushed the action a lot the last couple of days. Demidov pushes back harder.
Tiffany needs 2.2 million to call.
Both these players in their 20s, and we've seen it again and again. 20-somethings are aggressive.
And she will lay her hand down. And Demidov will take a pot worth 5.6 million chips. Tiffany Michelle, who started the day as one of the chip leaders, has had a rocky day 6 so far. Over at table 2, Thomas Keller has just been eliminated in 61st place at the hands of Jeremy Joseph. Joseph, a former chip leader, picking up a little steam again.
Maybe next year.
The 27-year-old Keller with his 4th career World Series cash, his first ever at the main event.
All right, let's get back to our featured table. A new player has joined this group, Nick Slowinski, with almost 4 million chips, 23 years old, from Pittsburgh, PA. Action on Kelly Kim, also known as KK, from Whittier, California. He's got a king. Kelly's going to slow roll us. He's got ace-king.
Kim is 31. Almost everyone left in the field in their 20s or 30s.
Raise to 90.
KK raises to 90,000.
Phil Hellmuth is one of the old men left at 43.
And action does fold around to the poker brat. Hellmuth looks down at a tray. He has pocket trays.
Oh, I have kind of a bad feeling about this hand.
Yeah, so just let it go.
No, I
Calls.
can't fold this hand ever.
The big blind he calls for 60,000 more.
He can't fold it ever?
He'll go heads up against Kelly Kim. The flop, 6-5 king. Kim leads with a pair of kings. Hellmuth first to act. Goes for 90,000.
Phil should be whining about himself today. It just hasn't been one of his better days of poker.
Badly timed bets. Kim does call for 90,000.
I ran into Phil a little earlier. We have about 60 players left. He said 40 of them play bad.
A queen on the turn is no help to Hellmuth.
I check.
Card is the Queen of Hearts. Bill checks.
Now Kim with the top pair.
And he's confident it's good.
150,000.
Called me just to bluff me on 4th straight? Really?
Actually, he called you with the best hand.
Huh?
I wouldn't dare do that.
You knew what I had before the flop when I called, didn't you? It's Phil Hellmuth. I had to have at least a pocket pair. I'm not a queen 10 guy.
You ought to try it sometime.
Yeah, I tried it in my 20s. I got rid of that play when I was 21.
Phil cracks me up, and he cracks Alan Kennedy up.
Well, what can I do?
He calls.
You got me.
Confident his trays are good.
I check.
Checks in the dark.
Pair the board, please.
River card does pair the board. Another queen, but king's up for Kelly Kim. Gives him the check mark. Phil already checked. Kim now bets 250,000.
Now, Phil gave Kim some information before. If Kim believes Phil had a pocket pair, Kim knows he can still beat Phil.
Hellmuth calls and loses again.
That's what we're talking about.
Kelly Kim on a nice run.
And another bad read from Phil Hellmuth.
I called you down. You know what I called you with?
What, 2 8s?
Nope, 2 3s.
Wow.
That was a nice hand, KK.
Well, nice to hear the poker brat handing out some props for a change. But for Kelly Kim, there's one opinion he truly wishes he could hear, that of his late mother.
My mom actually passed away when I was in senior in high school, which was devastating. She had leukemia, and it just happened all of a sudden, you know? Before that happened, I was a spoiled baby. I'm complaining to her, why can't I have a car by now, blah, blah, blah. And I don't realize how much pain she's in, you know? And she refused to go to I just wish she was here, you know? Next thing you know, she's in a coma, and it's like all of a sudden my whole world turned around. But it's part of life, you know? You get up from it. That experience there kind of made me who I am today, you know? Ultimately, it made me a better person because it made me not take for granted the things I have.
Oh, that's good.
You know, I'm a nice guy. I'm well-rounded, I think. I love my parents, my family. She'd be proud.
Kelly's mom would have loved the fact that her son went on to graduate college and earn an economics degree after she passed away. All right, let's go to the outer tables and the positive vibes of Mike Matusow, who's trying to knock out Jeremy Gobert.
I got it. You don't understand. Destiny.
You guys don't know, it's the new and improved Mike.
It's the aura of invincibility.
Matusow with pocket jacks, Gobert ace-king, pre-flop, Gobert at risk. All right, now the flop, and Mike flops a full boat.
Did I tell you?
And he wins the hand.
They can't beat me.
I'm starting to believe in Mike's power of positive thinking.
Gobert knocked out in 58th place.
I don't know if it's his aura or his aftershave, but it's working.
So Matusow knocks out Gobert. Payouts up to almost $116,000 now. Mike Matusow says that all the cards have brains and they come to people with positive energy.
Can you feel it?
Whatever works for you, Mike. at the Rio. The championship bracelet awaits only the most worthy on the E-Trade financial chip count. Geert Anderson is top dog in the house right now. Other notables, Mike Matusow with 3.4 million chips. Over at table 2, the man who dominated that leaderboard for quite a while, Jeremy Joseph, has been eliminated. He was done in by the current chip leader, Geert Anderson. Jeremy gets some consolation from his girlfriend, Crystal. Out in the field, day 5, chip leader Christian Dragomir just bet $525,000 on the turn and awaits Tiffany Michelle's next move.
Dragomir says he does not like playing against women. Tiffany is a woman.
A woman with a lot of chips, and she will make that call for $525K.
These are two aggressive 20-somethings, and Tiffany will not give an inch.
River card now, 4 of diamonds.
All in.
Tiffany has moved all in.
And Dragomir shoots her an ushka look.
She has Dragomir covered, so this would be for all of Dragomir's chips.
She check-called Christian on the turn, so he might be concerned she's got a monster.
And Dragomir will give it up. That fold cost him over 1 million chips, but a call might have cost him his tournament.
Tiffany, the last woman in the field, trying to hang with the boys here on day 6.
Elsewhere, we find Tiffany's good friend, Alex Althred, who has committed his last 500,000 chips to the pot, hoping his ace-king can beat Chris Klodnicki and his pocket 9s.
Althred, the World Series of Poker Academy coach. Klodnicki, a 23-year-old who finished second to Barry Greenstein and Raz earlier in this World Series.
Now the flop. Bad news for Althred.
Set of 9s. I hit the king, he hit his 9.
And Althred all but gone.
That, right?
Yep, Althred would need running kings or aces.
Turn card does him no good. Alex Althred knocked out of the main event. His students at the World Series of Poker Academy should be impressed with his 54th place finish.
Yeah, the coach talks the talk, and I guess he showed us he could walk the walk. Great run.
Alex will get a consolation hug from the last woman standing, Tiffany Michelle.
I know. Do me a favor and get foul, okay?
So Alex Althred knocked out of the main event. All right, let's get back to our featured table, and the headliner there, of course, the poker brat, Phil Hellmuth, on the Milwaukee's Best Light Pocket Cam. Phil, always slow to squeeze. Pocket 9s.
Hellmuth, the only one in this room who can win a second main event title, the only one who can win a 12th bracelet.
Phil limps in. Alan Kennedy's not going to join the party. He folds.
I think he folded queen 10.
Kelly Kim, 9 deuce of clubs in the small blind. Cost him $20,000 to call, and he limps in also. In the big blind, 35-year-old self-described ski bum from Truckee, California, Tony Scherer, with queen 10.
It's like a stacked deck. There's always a queen 10 against Phil.
He checks his option, 3 limpers to the flop. Flop is 4-10-7. Scherer paired that 10.
And the queen 10 always flops or turns a hand.
Kim checks, he missed the flop. Scherer with top pair checks as well. Hellmuth. He's not been checking a lot today.
65.
He's going to bet 65,000 with pocket 9s.
How many times have we seen him limp in instead of raising out the big blind? And then how many times have we seen him then bet with the worst hand?
Kim folded. Scherer now.
I'm all in.
Moves all in on Hellmuth.
Raise all in.
I think I have money.
Another bad read.
I talked him into raising by acting weak on the flop and standing up. I gave him a false tell, but I'm strong.
Well, Phil's not that strong after the flop, and if he calls here for the rest of his chips, he could be out of the main event momentarily.
God, I'm just a little confused. I was trying to send him a weak tell. This is where I get confused and lose pots sometimes, because I'm really strong and I send the weak tell, and then they move in weak.
Key moment for Hellmuth, a decision for all his chips.
But you can have this one.
Phil was ready to fire, but after second thoughts correctly folded. That is the planter's good instinct moment.
Oh, and if Scherer had showed the queen 10, lives could have been lost.
Hellmuth might have just saved his main event with that smart laydown.
The Planter's Good Instinct moment is brought to you by Planters. Instinctively good. The 2008 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and in part by WorldSeriesOfPoker.com. Shop WorldSeriesOfPoker.com. Get free shipping on gifts for your poker fan at ShopWSOP.com.
Welcome back to the Rio, where Christian Dragomir with ace-queen is all in against Ivan Demidov. Demidov with pocket queens. He has the lead after the flop.
Demidov had re-raised from the small blind pre-flop, and Dragomir then pushed all in for his final million.
Turn card now. Is an ace, and Dragomir finds new life.
Does Dragomir know he hit the ace? I think he saw it. It was right in front of him. Demidov can only knock Dragomir out now with the case queen.
It is a 9, and now Dragomir can celebrate as he does double up through Ivan Demidov. Demidov had a top 10 chip stack before that hand. He's still very strong, though.
Dragomir usually demonstrative, but here he hits a 3-outer and just chews some gum.
All right, there is Geert Anderson, the chip leader, who paired his jack on the flop to lead Dennis Phillips and his ace-queen. Phillips checked the flop. Action on Anderson now. Reaching for some of those chips in his monster stack. 175,000.
400.
And a quick raise from Phillips.
The 50-somethings can get aggressive, too. Phillips with squadouche.
Yeah, just ace high with that raise. Anderson needs 225,000 more to call. He could sneeze and enough chips would come off for the call. And he will call.
Well, Phillips was just posturing. He cannot be happy that Anderson is coming along.
All right, now the turn card is another 4. Anderson still way ahead. Dennis Phillips first to act.
700.
That's 700,000.
Phillips trying to muscle up and bluff the biggest stack in the room. He bluff raised on the flop, and now he bluffs at it again. Phillips flirting with danger.
Geert Anderson will fold to Dennis Phillips.
He just scallywagged the chip leader. That is a nice play.
Now I can breathe. Damn.
Phillips represented strength pretty much the whole way and took down that pot.
Well, Phillips has shown us he has some pep in his step.
All right, now we go to find Dean Hamrick in a 3-way pot with David Saab and Nikolai Losev. Action is on Saab with a board of 8-8 king.
I'm all in.
Saab moves all in for over $500,000.
Saab had about 15 big blinds left. He decides to push.
Action now on 27-year-old Russian player Nikolai Losev from Moscow. And Losev will make the call for 260,000 more. Dean Hamrick also in this hand, and he also makes the call.
And that's got to be at least one call too many for Saab's taste.
Saab at risk. Now the turn card. 10 of diamonds. Losev first to act. That's $500,000 into a side pot now with Hamrick.
Well, that is bad news for David Saab.
Hamrick folds. And so now let's see the cards between Saab and Losev. Saab turns over aces, but Losev leads with trip 8s.
Oh, geez. Losev was in the small blind with 8-6 suited. Now Saab needs an ace or he's done.
The river card is a tray. Losev wins the hand. The likable David Saab had his aces cracked and is knocked out in 46th place.
Now, pocket aces go down and David Saab goes out.
And Nikolai Losev is the new chip leader. So from the biggest stack back to the featured table where it has not been Phil Hellmuth Appreciation Day. He's lost about half his stack. Has a little more than 400,000 left. Action will begin with Phil. He's got an ace and a queen.
I'm all in.
And Phil moves all in.
Phil with just 10 big blinds left, a time when you have to think about making a move. Ace-queen makes it an easy decision.
Action on Andrew Roskam with pocket jacks from Cleveland, Ohio.
Roskam, a former investment banker. He's set to attend Harvard Business School.
26 years old.
Honey, I'm all in, honey.
On the right, Phil's wife, Kathy, with his sister, Molly. And Roskam will make that call and put Hellmuth at risk.
Remarkably, Phil's been knocked out holding ace-queen in the last 2 main events.
Phil turns over 2 overcards, but he's going to need to catch to stay in the main event.
Hellmuth has had a rocky day, and he needs it to turn around right here, else he will be out.
Andrew Roskam with the chance to knock off the last remaining main event winner from this field.
And Hellmuth right now just seems melancholy, awaiting his fate.
It's the first time I've been in like 2 days, 3 days or something.
Phil just seems played out.
Let's see the flop, please.
All right, now the flop. Hellmuth at risk. 4 king tray. Roskam still leads.
Phil's still looking for an ace or a queen, or running hearts or straight cards.
Hellmuth back to the table now for a closer look at this turn card. Turn is a 10 of hearts, and now with flush and straight draws, Phil Hellmuth.
That's a good sweat.
The one and only Phil Hellmuth with a lot of ways out now. The 89 champ needs an ace, a queen, a jack for a straight, or any heart to stick around for another title drive.
The river card, a deuce of spades, and Hellmuth is gone.
I get so unlucky in this tournament.
45th place for Hellmuth.
We give him a lot of grief deservedly, but you have to feel for Hellmuth at a moment like this. As he said, the World Series is his life.
It was a deep and volatile run in the main event for Phil Hellmuth, but now he must take the most painful walk in poker.
Her nickname is Hot Chips, and here at the main event, Tiffany has run hot. Her chip stack has grown high.
Let's look at the E-Trade financial chip count. Nikolai Losev is the tournament leader right now. Brandon Cantu in 4th. Some other notable chip stacks include Tiffany Michelle right now in 6th place. Also at our featured table, the aggressive Christian Dragomir from Romania and the uber-aggressive Keto Fam from Dallas, Texas.
You have to take the hood off so your parent can see you on TV.
He's hiding from them.
Keto talks to 23-year-old poker pro Garrett Beckman, and from under the hood, Beckman does not talk back.
Lines at 25 and 50,000 here at this featured table. Action on Joe Bishop, 35-year-old amateur from Cincinnati on the Milwaukee's Best Light Pocket Cam, 7-6 of clubs.
Bishop is a lumber salesman.
You're not safe. You're fixing to call this blind.
Keto is in the big blind.
I don't want to raise your blind, Keto.
Does he go door to door with the lumber?
Bishop limps in for 50,000. Tiffany Michelle with Queen 9 of spades.
Tiffany, give me some love, baby.
Love in the form of 200,000 chips, Keto.
That's a raise.
Raises to 200,000.
All you can eat.
Keto folds his big blind.
Look, I'm scared of the lady, but you know, I'm always kind about donating chips, so why the hell not? I know you do, dear.
Bishop makes the call.
Who sells lumber these days?
Bag calls too, and they're like, I just wanted to donate chips.
Michelle and Bishop to the flop. And the flop is 10-8-10. Couple of clubs there. Bishop with a straight flush draw. Michelle with a gut shot straight draw. Bishop checks.
How often do people need lumber? I mean, firewood, sure, but
call.
Who's buying lumber on a weekly basis?
Tiffany Michelle bets 300,000.
I don't want to question the guy's career choice, but really.
Are you watching poker? Bishop called, and Bishop hits his flush. Earns the check mark, and he checks.
That is one cool and coy lumber salesman.
Tiffany Michelle with a straight draw, but only queen high right now. We'll call.
So you bet at the flush and you hate your flush now? That's how this is going to go?
Tiffany's got nothing but a gut shot.
Call.
Bishop makes the call.
Tiffany's got queen high and she's not breathing.
River card 3 of hearts. Bishop already had the check mark. Bishop checks a third time.
Well, will Michelle wave the white flag or charge ahead?
She's been aggressive. 600,000.
Poker pro Steve Zolotow is not a fan of firing multiple bullets with nothing. He says after the first bullet misses, players fire the second one into their foot and the third one into their brain.
Call.
Bishop calls.
600
and a flush?
You're the better. You'll look at this.
Tiffany doesn't want to show.
She was called. She's first.
Tiffany mucks.
See, she could have won it with queen high for all she knows.
Bishop turns over his winning flush to take that pot.
The future is in lumber, Lon. Not plastics, lumber.
Pretty good Hollywood, Joe.
No, not really.
You see her bet and you look at us like, oh, she hit your flush. Oh, you hit your flush.
Well, no, freaking the thing is freaking wasn't high enough. That was the concern.
Tiffany having trouble getting things going here at the featured table, but with a chip stack of almost 4 million, she's still well above average. Norman, every main event brings with it the possibility of seeing something spectacular, whether it's an unknown accountant climbing to the top or a well-known pro falling just short. And this year brings a very exciting possibility. Will a woman finally win the main event?
Lon, Tiffany Michelle is on the doorstep of history. Now, if she can bust that door down, that would be great for women and great for poker. And personally, I love the fact that just 1 year ago, she was a reporter, like me, covering the main event. So while I may be a lost cause when it comes to women, Tiffany gives me hope when it comes to poker.
Her best day was day 5, winning 2.5 million chips.
Did I raise that hand? You told me it was 6-7 suited.
Yes. You know, I'm not very intelligent, so I'll play pretty much anything.
It's good to know. It means I'm gonna get all your chips.
Yeah.
Boy, she's developing some Phil Hellmuth characteristics.
On the E-Trade Financial Tournament Ticker, you see the new lavender chip worth $100,000. Two of the biggest stacks have a lot of those. They're going head-to-head. The river card is out. Brandon Cantu, first to act against chip leader Nikolai Losev.
Two 27-year-old poker pros banging heads here.
Cantu checks the river to Losev now. He's pushing out about $3 million. Oh, what was that?
No, Losev was about to bet, then a change of heart. You can't do that. It's a string bet.
Now Losev will bet $1.5 million.
Hold on a second. Yes. He pushed the whole stack forward.
Exactly. Losev made a forward motion, which could elicit a reaction, and then pulled it back.
Floor over here.
That type of action could give a player an unfair advantage because of added information.
Brought it back.
Brandon's going to question it.
I might be slitting my throat for asking for this. I might just murder myself if this is.
The tournament official saying it's not a bet until a player has released his chips.
No, hold on. He went like this. He goes out like this, he pulls it back, and then he goes like this.
Cantu's absolutely correct as to what happened.
I mean, what is that? As forward as it gets.
We'll have to set up the bet.
Hold on. No, that's not. Hold on. What? This is not forward motion?
That's Michael Carroll.
That's what he did. Then he came back.
It's still cut and drop.
Wow. So I can do one of these. You can push your whole stack forward and move it back? Back? No. No, come on. That's not. Come on, man. No way. Hold on. I want another ruling. Yeah, get Jack or somebody. Come on. No way.
I agree with Carroll and Cantu. I don't like that ruling.
And this is a very critical moment. This pot could determine the tournament chip leader. Tournament director Jack Effel's been called, and we'll check back in on that situation. Right now to table 2, Chino Rheem in position to eliminate a player after the flop. Chino leads with pocket queens. Chris Crilly at risk with ace-queen. Turn card is an 8, no help to Crilly.
Crilly needs an ace or he will be eliminated.
8. The river card is a king, and Chris Crilly is gone in 44th place, done in by Chino Rheem. Chino adds $1.5 million chips to his stack. Crilly picks up $154,000.
Crilly cashed in last year's main event. Did not play another tournament until this year's main event. Back-to-back cash is very nice.
This is what you're telling me I can do.
Meanwhile, back to the field, where that string bet brouhaha has attracted a lot of attention. Jack Effel on site.
Way too out. I'm trying to get the full facts over what's happened so I can make a good decision based on the set of circumstances.
You're telling me, because we're in the same distance. He's in the set. You just told me that I can do this. This is what you're saying. Wait, just let me finish. Let me finish what I'm doing, because I haven't released anything.
He makes a quick call, he can bring it back.
I can bring it back.
He can say call and you bring it back.
And I can do that.
No, that you cannot do. So what I want to see is, how far did he go out when he came out here?
As far as I just know.
That's about right. That is about right.
With the whole stack?
The whole stack.
The whole stack of chips.
Okay.
And then he comes back.
But he didn't release it.
Losev can't even state his own case. He does not speak much English.
He cuts out 15 chips.
Okay.
He didn't let go of the stack.
And he didn't really, and that's the rule, guys. At this point, the 1.5 million is going to stand as the bet, and the action is going to be back here.
Wow.
I call.
Cantu calls $1.5 million chip bet. Shows a full house, and Losev mucks.
Terrible ruling.
Tournament director Jack Effel ruled that Losev never released the full $3 million into the pot. I don't understand that ruling.
I'm going to start bluffing you guys out of your shoes by moving my stack. That's what I'm saying. You open it up to that. That is not right. It's not right.
Losev will get talked to about his actions. Brandon would have won $1.5 million more had he won his argument, but he still took a big enough pot to take over the tournament lead.
The 2008 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and in part by WorldSeriesOfPoker.com. Shop WorldSeriesOfPoker.com. Get free shipping on gifts for your poker fan at ShopWSOP.com.
Being the last woman standing is validation just on a whole new level. It's fun, it's cool to be like a young, cute chick in poker doing well. It seems to be an oxymoron for people. People don't expect it, and I like to surprise people, and I think I've started doing that, and I know that I play with the best.
Tiffany says most men believe women are tight players. She uses that to her advantage, and she is not afraid to get aggressive.
Tiffany Michelle with pocket eights, the part-time actress, died on ER one time. Did you know that?
Oh, her acting wasn't that bad. Well, at last year's World Series, she was carrying around a microphone. I think she likes this a whole lot more.
She raised it to 150. Demidov with ace-5 offsuit.
Scare me, Ivan.
Mad Russian.
I'm not that mad.
Ace-5 offsuit with a re-raise to 475.
We saw Alex Kravchenko at last year's final table. We saw Nikolai Losev a little while ago. Russians are making big inroads in poker.
Action back to Tiffany Michelle.
You have a crush on me, Ivan? You always want to play with me.
Next time we come for you, okay?
Ivan playing hard to get.
She needs 325,000 to call, and she does. So once again, Tiffany Michelle heads up, going to a flop with Demidov here. Flop is Jack King 8. Michelle with a set of 8s. She's first to act. She checks.
Michelle hopes Demidov will be the aggressive one and trap himself.
And Ivan will do just that. 525,000.
I'm going to raise.
Tiffany Michelle.
Ivan really losing interest in Tiffany now.
1.6 million total.
I don't think Demidov will dance any longer with Tiffany here.
I'm gonna fold. No need to count.
Demidov will fold, and Tiffany Michelle will take that pot.
I told you, Tiffany, you're the man. You're the man. I said that since yesterday. You are the man.
Tiffany Michelle's up and down day continues as she wastes no time establishing her presence at this featured table. Out in the field, the string bet controversy still the topic of conversation at the scene of the non-crime. Losev is back at the table.
The new thing in poker, the pump fake is coming. It is coming. I mean, I want all-out pump fakes from now on. Man, that's strong. I mean, I might start bringing them out here, hold it for 15 seconds for a reaction, and then bring it back. I mean, What?
My Russian's a little rusty,
Wow.
but that doesn't sound good.
Wow. Get Jack back over here. Please, please. Get Jack back over here.
Now they want the tournament director back.
Who's he talking to then?
Only English is allowed at the table to ensure that everyone understands everything said.
I care. What? I don't understand. Man, get Jack over here. I care. I don't like, my problem is you keep talking and I don't know, you looking at me and talking. It's English only on this table.
Yes, it is.
He keeps talking in whatever language he's looking at me. What are you saying?
Yes, sir. Sir?
I'm no speak okay.
Okay, sir. English only all
I'm sorry.
times.
I'm sorry.
If you do it again, we're going to give you a penalty.
Okay.
We break the English only rule up here in the booth all the time.
Time.
Obviously, emotions running very high
Calm
as we
down.
get closer to the final table, and the importance of every decision is magnified. Back to our featured table. 41 players left in this tournament. Action on Joe Bishop. Bishop with pocket jacks.
He's a lumberjack, Lon. See, the English only rule can backfire.
And he raises to 225. Over to Keto Fam. Ace King offsuit.
Keto, always aggressive. He's been hamstrung, though, by a short stack.
Fam in the small blind.
I'm all in.
And moves all in.
Keto.
For about 1.3 total.
Don't do it, I tell you. I can beat you with ace queen. So, what you think?
So you got queens then or what?
Bishop trying to get a read.
Well, at this point, you can at least talk. Come on, baby.
That's a first.
If Bishop puts Keto on aces, kings, or queens, he's got to fold. Otherwise, it's an easy call.
You may not even be racing.
Does he want to put Keto at risk?
Call.
You got pair?
Yeah.
Keto at risk and behind.
Yep, I thought we were racing.
There are the jacks.
Yeah, we know what's going to happen, so
I see the nefarious reputation of pocket jacks have reached Cincinnati, where Joe's from.
A lot at stake. You've got to like their table manners. Keto Fam at risk.
All right, now. Ace King versus pocket jacks. The flop, and there's a jack. Bishop with a set.
Big flop for Bishop.
Full outer.
Fam now needs even more help.
Keto with a straight draw.
Let's see the turn.
Turn card now. It pairs the board and gives Bishop a full house and eliminates Keto Fam right there.
Hey, really, don't worry about the
Keto had made a pot limit Omaha final table earlier at this World Series.
Good luck.
Two six-figure cashes for Keto Fam at this year's World Series of Poker. He earns over $154,000 for his efforts here. A very well-liked and respected player makes his exit, and we are now down to our final 40 players.
The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, main event.
Back to the Rio right to table 2, where Mike the Mouth Matusow is sitting, but he's a quiet mouth right now watching Chino Rheem, who has pocket eights, in a hand against Craig Marquis and Felix Osterland, who is all in with ace-10 and waiting for Chino's decision.
Do you want action, my friend?
I'm not sure.
I'm not either.
1.335.
I don't know what you have. I think I'm putting you on what you have.
I don't think so, but I don't want to action.
See, this conversation is in English, and I don't understand a word of it.
I call.
That I understand.
Chino Rheem makes the call to put Osterland at risk. Craig Marquis folds, Osterland all in and trailing Chino Rheem. Rheem with pocket eights, Osterland ace-10.
Osterland not happy with Rheem's call. The 22-year-old will be at risk.
All right, now the flop. There's 10 deuce, 8. Rheem nearly puts his hand away with a set of eights.
That will do it unless Osterland gets running 10s or running aces.
It's a queen on the turn, and that will end the hand. Rheem wins it. Felix Osterland knocked off in 38th place.
And Chino running hot, hot, hot.
Don't say I didn't gamble, boys.
You put 20% of your stack in, buddy.
Don't say I'm not here to gamble, boys.
That's an
What do you want from me?
insanely horrific call. I don't care if you won or not.
Mikey just hating on me right now.
I love you.
Because I'm
but
stacking
that was
the
the
chips.
worst call in the history of, life.
Really?
Chino continuing to live and thrive on the edge of recklessness. Nearby, Dean Hamrick's tournament life is on the line, but he's ahead with kings up after the flop against Chris Klodnicki's queens up.
Hamrick's childhood buddy Justin Scott eliminated earlier in the day in 67th place.
Turn card's a 7. Klodnicki needs help to knock Hamrick out.
Klodnicki needs an ace or a queen to eliminate Dean Hamrick.
River card is a tray. Klodnicki can't get it done. Hamrick doubles up.
Yeah, baby!
That is Yale Hamrick on the rail cheering for his twin brother. The two siblings, obviously not identical twins, but perhaps it's their differences that have helped to make Dean Hamrick the poker player he is today.
I was a twin, and I got my foot lodged in my mother's rib cage. That caused some congenital birth defect. I was born with dislocated hips, feet, and knees. My mom likes to say that we were wrestling around in the womb. When you're born a little different, kids can be mean. If you don't let them get to you, it makes you stronger. And because of that, it's probably made my life better. My mom always said the best thing for me was growing up with a twin, because I had no choice but to compete with him. I've always had a competitive side, and poker was one of the only sports I could do. It was something that definitely got that competitive edge out. To have a shot to win the main event of the World Series at this age and this times, it's pretty exciting.
And Dean Hamrick with a real shot here at the $9 million. This is the second year in a row he has cashed in the main event.
Good hand, though. This is my twin brother. He just looks like he's 50.
Dean just one of 37 players left in the main event. The chip average is 3.7 million, and the lone lady left in the event, well above that right now, Tiffany Michelle with 6.5 million chips. She's a certified massage therapist too, as well as a pretty good poker player. Joining the featured table now, the trucking account manager from St. Louis, Dennis Phillips, who was a chip leader earlier here on day 6. Action is on Christian Dragomir, who also was a tournament leader for a little bit. Looks down at 10-8 offsuit.
Well, at least that's better than the 10-4 he beat Phil Hellmuth with.
And he will limp in for 30,000. Tiffany Michelle in the big blind with Queen 8.
You and me?
I guess.
Friendly check.
Okay.
Thanks.
Checks are option. Battle of the blinds. Flop is deuce 8-6. Each pair their 8. Tiffany has Christian dominated.
I wonder if Phil Hellmuth is keeping up with Dragomir's progress online.
Dragomir bets 125,000 and a friendly call from Tiffany. Turn card is an ace. Michelle still ahead. Dragomir doesn't shy away. Bets 175,000.
Dragomir leads out again.
Michelle with a call.
No hesitation from Michelle.
Keep betting.
Bring on the chips, Michelle says. A king on the river gives Michelle the check mark. Dragomir checks now.
Christian finally puts on the brakes.
What are you gonna call here? 5?
$500,000 from Tiffany Michelle.
At no point of this hand did Tiffany Michelle believe she was behind, and she was right. Dragomir has said he has trouble playing against women.
I just can't see how can I lay this down. I want to win one, you know? Otherwise, I'm just taking...
Otherwise, you're a sissy.
No, it's not about that. It's about winning one, you know? When you play poker, from time to time...
Then win one. Then win one, buddy.
Nah, I'm not folding. I'm not folding.
Is that Romanian for I'm calling?
He does call.
He does make the call.
I just have a small pair.
What pair is that?
You're first, and you show
I have an 8.
She shows the 8.
Wood with?
What's the kicker? Oh, that's a better kicker than Christian had.
Was that a bluff? It was a value bet. It was a value bet.
I just didn't think you had an ace or king, really.
Tiffany Michelle takes that pot, just shy of $2 million.
Dragomir's thinking women.
Dragomir takes a hit. Tiffany Michelle continues her climb towards a chance at World Series history. Next Tuesday, the stakes are huge. 27 will begin, only 9 will advance. And on November 11th, the highly anticipated final table. The November 9 will compete for the most coveted prize in poker. The action unfolds every Tuesday at 9 and 10 p.m. on ESPN. Back inside the Rio, Brandon Cantu has been moved to table 2. Instead of dealing with Nikolai Losev, he gets to play with Mike Matusow.
Cantu's playing a lot of hands. The mouth is not.
Heads up, Matusow leads pocket 7s to Cantu's king 10. Flop is deuce 6-4, 3 small cards. Matusow has the lead. He bets $300,000. Cantu lays it down.
It's a pretty good flop for this hand.
That's it.
That's a pretty good flop. That's a pretty good flop for that hand.
I promise if you put him to the test, he would have mucked them 7.
You think?
Could he have taken the big raise right there? I don't know.
Could he have taken the heat?
Could I have? I told you I'm not folding anything to him if he comes over me. I already told you that.
Cantu's got quite a reputation.
You think that I don't have balls? I'll show you balls.
Where are the balls?
I'll show you.
The mouth is back.
Yes!
Nearby, that's Kelly Kim celebrating, and with good reason. He just flopped a nut flush against Andrew Roskam. Roskam pushed all in after flopping top pair. Kim called. Roskam needs help to stay alive.
Roskam, a 26-year-old pro from Cleveland, is going to need runner, full house, or quads, or he's done.
Turn card now. Pairs the board. Roskam still with a chance.
Well, the first runner's always easy. The second one is a tough one.
That's the one that gets you.
Well, Roskam will need a jack or a 9 to stay alive.
All right, now the river card. It is a 6. Kelly Kim will take that hand and eliminate Andrew Roskam in 37th place.
Kelly Kim making some noise here, and he's got a rail full of noise over there.
What's up?
Kim takes that $5 million chip pot, and he's sitting pretty right now. At another table, Dean Hamrick is watching tablemates Peter Neff, who is all in, and Daros Suharto. Suharto's ace-jack dominates Neff's ace-9. And here's the flop, and Suharto pairs his jack to take a bigger lead.
Now Peter Neff needs runner to stay alive.
Turn card now. 8 of diamonds, and that's not going to do it. Neff drawing dead and eliminated by Suharto. Neff, a 22-year-old from Los Angeles with his first World Series cash. It's a good one.
Boy, these payouts are getting serious.
Suharto, the Toronto accountant, now at 4.3 million chips. All right, let's get back to our featured table. Tiffany Michelle sits there, and she's given Christian Dragomir all the poker trouble he can handle.
5 million.
Keeping track in your head.
No,
How many of these are yours?
I haven't lost a chip to someone else than yours. You're the only one I'm losing
You should
chips
play
to.
pots with me. I'm a magnet for your chips.
Yeah,
I have a crush on your chips. Or they have a crush on me.
maybe.
Tiffany feeling it right now. Seems awfully impressed with herself.
All right, action continues at this featured table with the blinds at 30 and 60,000, a 10,000 chip ante from each player. Joe Bishop looks at Jack 10 offsuit. Bishop limps in for 60,000.
On day one, Bishop got food poisoning on the dinner break. Pretty much spent the last 3 hours of the day in the bathroom getting blinded off.
Action folds over to Dennis Phillips. King tray of diamonds. And a raise to 310,000 from the big blind.
Phillips immediately announces himself to this table with a big raise from the big blind with king tray.
And Bishop makes an immediate call. They'll go heads up. The flop is 4 queen ace of diamonds. Phillips flops the nut flush and checks.
That would be a fortunate flop for Dennis Phillips.
Speed limit.
More fortuitous actions as Bishop bets into him for over $500,000.
Yeah, that would be an unfortunate semi-bluff from Joe Bishop. And Phillips, what do you do? Just move from St. Louis to Hollywood? He's acting like he doesn't like it.
All right, a call from Phillips. And now the turn card is a king. Oh, that's cruel. Bishop turned the ace high straight, drawing dead.
What a disaster card for Joe Bishop. He hits the joker, and the joke's on him.
Phillips checks again.
Let's do it again.
Bishop says 550 again.
Did you mention he's drawn dead, Lon?
He's drawn dead, yeah.
He's drawing very dead.
550 from Bishop. And a raise now from Phillips to 1.25 million.
Boy, things got very serious around this table in a hurry.
Call.
And Phillips thinks, thank you very much.
And this is a tough path that Joe Bishop is going down.
All right, river card now is a deuce of spades. Phillips check the flop and the turn. Not going to check this. 1 million chips.
Phillips value bets his nut flush, and grim reality is setting in on Joe Bishop.
This would just be sick. God, did you have it the whole way? Did you have it the whole way?
Bishop realizing Phillips might have flopped the flush.
1 million straight.
Tough spot for Bishop.
Call.
He does call with the ace high straight, but Phillips has him beat. And that won't sit well.
Wow. Phillips played that hand about as well as you could, and a huge blow to Bishop.
Yeah, Bishop shipped 3 million of his chips to Dennis Phillips.
Good hand, bro.
A gracious Bishop acknowledges the fine play of Phillips there. That is a tough pill to swallow. Bishop gave up more than half of his chips. Phillips now can claim the third biggest stack in the room, over 9 million. This Poker Fact is brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. There is nearly a 1 in 4 chance of being dealt 2 suited cards. Of course, there are thousands of ways to play those cards. Back to the Rio, the E-Trade financial chip count tells us Brandon Cantu is the only player over 10 million. Chino Rheem still with a strong stack as well. Let's get back to our featured table, which so far has been very kind to Tiffany Michelle and to Dennis Phillips.
What are all the signatures on your hat?
Poker players.
Anyone you knocked out or just your...
No.
Okay.
This is Phillips' first ever trip to the World Series, and his hat was supposed to be proof that he was here.
Name is Dennis Phillips. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a big Cardinal fan. Love the Cardinals and the whole bit. Wanted to get some autographs and everything from some of the big players out here. I've admired them and that. I thought it was a perfect combination. The hat was purchased and brought out here specifically to get the autographs on it. You walk down the hallway, you have to almost turn sideways. There's so many people. Oh my God. The names and the people you recognize that you've seen on TV the whole time. It was awesome. Everybody was willing to sign the hat, friendly, shake my hand, wish me good luck. Everybody from Phil to Jeff Madsen. Keto, I was at his table for a while. Well, Mike Matusow, I mean, he took time out from an interview, said, hey, let me sign your hat. Wish me luck, went back. I mean, he couldn't be a nicer guy.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Once this tournament is over, this hat will never be worn again. It's going to go in some sort of little case or something. There's just a ton of them up there. In fact, most everybody on the hat is now eliminated, but that's okay. I really didn't want to play against those guys. They're better than I am.
They all might be better players than he is, but if this keeps up, who knows? People might one day want Dennis Phillips' autograph.
Action is on Dennis Phillips. He looks down at pocket jacks. Dennis is going to raise it up to 250,000.
That is more than 4 times the big blind.
That should send a signal to the rest of the table. Garrett Beckman folds. Albert Kim folds now to Tiffany Michelle. She looks down at ace king offsuit from the small blind. And she will re-raise to 550. Back to Phillips.
Going up.
A re-raise by him to 1.65 million.
Two of the 5 biggest chip stacks in this room crashing into each other, and they're both holding big hands.
This is stare down.
Phillips not interested in high noon theatrics.
Big decision for Tiffany Michelle.
If it gets ugly here, Phillips has Michelle covered.
Tiffany gives it up.
Aces are kings, right?
Tiffany with a big laydown there, did not even want to see a flop.
Dennis Phillips continues to assert himself here at this featured table. Let's go out into the field. Kelly Kim back in action. He has bet 600,000 on the river. Opponent Jason Riesenberg thinking it over.
Come on.
And now moves all in.
Riesenberg, a 25-year-old poker pro here in Las Vegas. If Kim calls, Jason's main event could be over.
You want to talk to me?
Kim needs almost $1 million to call.
If I fold?
Kelly Kim folds pocket queens. Riesenberg will show. Oh, he's got quads.
Nice laydown from Kim.
Quad 7, sweetie.
Players can never resist showing quads.
Norman, I think it's part of the Poker Player's Handbook.
There's a queen there.
Yeah, Kelly lost 1 million chips on that hand, but it could have been a lot worse.
I was going to show you, no matter what.
All right, let's go to table 2. Chip leader Brandon Cantu has the post-flop lead, holding pocket sevens against Craig Marquis and his ace-queen high.
Cantu, one of 3 bracelet winners remaining, along with 2-time winner Fee Win and 3-time winner Mike Matusow.
Action is on Cantu. He checks.
Marquis, 23 years old, attended the University of Texas in Arlington.
He checks behind Cantu. It's an ace on the turn. Marquis takes the lead with a pair of aces. Brandon Cantu checks. Marquis puts out a tiny 200,000 chip bet.
Perhaps Marquis trying to induce a reckless raise out of Cantu.
$1 million.
Brandon will oblige. Marquis will need 800,000 to call. Craig has the lead with those aces. Craig Marquis makes the call. River card now is a 10 of clubs. Marquis with those aces earns the check mark.
What you playing about?
Brandon wants a chip count on Marquis' stack.
Marquis got about 4.1 million.
I'm all in.
Cantu's gonna raise enough to put Marquis all in.
The chip leader turns up the heat.
Call.
Marquis makes the quick call and will win the 12 million chip pot. Wow.
That's what I thought.
It's tough to know where you stand with Brandon Cantu, but Marquis made the right choice with all his chips on the line. That's the planner's good instinct moment.
What a call, what a turnaround. Sometimes you can force a middle stack to fold for their tournament life, but Marquis had a pristine read on Brandon.
Mike, the kid says, that's what I thought. Just like that. Snap calls and says, that's what I thought.
Craig Marquis is the new tournament leader. Cantu's audacious style of play had put him on top, and now that same style makes him just one of the pack.
The Planters Good Instinct moment is brought to you by Planters. Instinctively good. The 2008 World Series of Poker, presented by Milwaukee's Best Light. Main event.
Welcome back to the Rio. This small and talent-rich field is creating stunning action everywhere you look. At table 2, Mike Matusow raised the action with a suited ace-king. Brandon Cantu re-raised with ace-queen of hearts. Action now on Chino Rheem.
I'm all in.
And Chino pushes all in with jacks.
You're all in?
That's what I said, buddy.
Like insta all in. Like raise under the front of the wall and hole, re-raise 600, insta all in.
The mouth knows what that means.
Mike with one of the shorter chip stacks.
All right.
Matusow folds.
Another disciplined fold from Matusow.
Cantu lays it down as well.
What'd you muck?
Let's sit.
I got you both beat.
Oh, really?
Really?
Hard to believe.
You had ace king?
I was insta shoving you.
I was insta-reshoving both of you guys. How's that?
Ace-king suited, the mouth said no to a coin flip at
I
best.
only want to put it in when I got the best of it, buddy. It's that simple.
It's that simple.
The world's shortest poker manual by Chino Rheem. Back to the featured table, Dennis Phillips and his St. Louis Cardinals hat have been having plenty of good times. Dennis with a suited Queen-8 called a pre-flop raise of Garrett Beckman, who leads with Ace-Queen.
Phillips feeling his oats calling that raise.
Flop is 7, 6, 10. Beckman with ace-high right now. Phillips with a straight draw.
Beckman, a 23-year-old pro who's a pretty nice guy under that hood.
Beckman checks. Dennis Phillips checks. It's a 9 of clubs, and Phillips hits a straight to the 10. Beckman, though, with a nut flush draw. Beckman bets 280 on the draw.
Beckman, a bad time for a semi-bluff.
Phillips has the straight, raises to 600,000.
All in. I call.
All in and a call.
You got the flush?
Raises 600.
I got the straight.
Phillips now has Beckman on the edge of elimination.
The rule at the moment is stay out of Dennis Phillips' way.
No kidding.
Beckman needs a club to win the hand outright. An 8 would split the pot. Otherwise, he's done.
River card, 4 of hearts. Garrett Beckman knocked out in 31st place.
Dennis Phillips on a roll.
Beckman takes home $193,000 from this main event.
And that is a runaway trucking account manager.
He's now the chip leader with over 12 million with just 30 players left in the room. The chip average over 4.5 million. Out in the field, one of the shorter stacks called all in against the former chip leader Nikolai Losev. Nick Slowinski is at risk with ace-10. Losev with queen tray.
Queen tray just pushed more than 3 million chips in.
I made the right decision. If I'm out, I'm out.
It's Nick's sister Melise, whom he learned the game from.
Slowinski at risk in a sea of insanity.
Flop is 7, 9, 5. Nick's still good with ace high.
Hold up.
The blinds are at 40 and 80,000, and Losef bet 3 million on queen tray.
And he's in trouble now. Turn card's a king.
2 outs cut out. I got a flush draw on top.
I know, I see, baby. I see.
A non-heart queen or tray would knock Slowinski out.
That's just
the
me.
river card, 7 of spades, and he doubles up.
I knew I was being bullied.
A big celebration from the Slowinski clan.
Nick, you're the man.
2/3 of Losef's chip stack gone on queen tray.
A former chip leader. Slowinski now with over 6.5 million chips. He's a player in the main event. At table 2, Mike Matusow raised pre-flop with ace-jack. He was called by Paul Sneed with holdings of ace-9 of clubs.
The mouth has been so selective and patient at this main event.
Now the flop, and wow, all the aces are out. Trips for both players. Matusow in great shape with a better kicker.
Great spot for the mouth.
Mouth will act first. He checks.
Mike is going to slow play it.
Sneed in a Jets jersey is from Kings Park, New York, a retired CFO of a biotech company. He checks.
Sneed wouldn't take the bait.
Turn card now. Oh, is a 9.
Ouch.
And Sneed turns a full boat.
Sneed's got mouth nailed.
Matusow with the trip aces, which are second best, bets $500,000.
I'm all in. I call.
Matusow with an insta call to put himself at risk.
Don't show me 9's full.
Sorry, Mike, it's aces full.
And Matusow runs into horrific luck.
Sneed in great shape.
I got him. He's drawing debt. He's got 2 outs. He's got 3 outs.
How does he hit a card? How does he call 500,000 more and hit a 9?
You have ace-5?
I just felt weakness, and I came over him with 500 more, and he just jumped right on.
He's got 3 outs.
Right now?
He's got 3 jacks.
What a miracle he
He needs a jack or another heartbreaking main event finish from
Never win the
Matusow.
pot either. Jack!
River's a king, and that will be the end of Mike Matusow. They're making sure Sneed has him covered. Mike Matusow, the last of the big-name pros in this main event, gone in 30th place.
We knew we had an ace.
You took him down.
Sneed gets congratulations from 05 runner-up Steve Dannenman.
The mouth had a day 1 misstep and one other potential blow-up, but overall was in brilliant form. Yet disappointment again, his 4th deep run in the main event this decade.
Sneed celebrates with his wife, but one man's joy is another man's sorrow.
You know, I feel great. I never expected another run like this. I told somebody before the before the tournament, it was like, probably never ever have a chance to win this tournament again, you know. And here I was again with a chance. So it's just a little emotional, but I mean, I love life. Things are good. It just sucks. Sorry about that, man.
The 2008 World Series of Poker is presented by Milwaukee's Best Light, brewed for a man's taste, Miller Brewing Company, and in part by WorldSeriesOfPoker.com. Shop WorldSeriesOfPoker.com. Get free shipping on gifts for your poker fan at ShopWSOP.com.
Back in the Rio, just 29 players remain and a quieter field now that Mike Matusow is making his exit.
Good job, Mike. Thanks, you guys.
The pros always say the worst moment of the year is when they get knocked out of the main event.
So that World Championship bracelet eludes Mike the Mouth Matusow once again. Let's get back to action at our featured table. Dennis Phillips, the tournament chip leader, will not play this hand. Ivan Demidov on the Milwaukee's Best Light pocket cam with pocket fives.
These Soviets are tough.
The Soviets fell a long time ago. He's from Russia.
I know what I know.
Demidov, though, will raise it. He likes to be aggressive to 225,000.
And hey, I'll tell you when the Cold War is over.
Action folds around to Joe Bishop. Joe Bishop with pocket aces.
Do you know what they call pocket aces in the lumber business line?
Tell me.
Pocket aces. It's a very straightforward group of guys.
He makes a call with the aces. Action now on Christian Dragomir from Romania.
I'm not folding.
Okay. But if you go all in, will you say the thing about, I've had enough of this, I'm all in, will you say it that way?
I just had enough of this. I'm only.
Okay, he's all in with pocket tens.
25 out front, Christian.
I have a count.
Action back to
Let me do the count, please. My friend from Russia.
This Eastern Bloc Iron Curtain thing bothers me.
We go back like years ago.
Dragomir's a comedian now.
So it's 1.3 and this.
1.3 and that.
Demidov with pocket fives. And Bishop can't wait for the action to get to him.
Dragomir waiting for Demidov. Looks like he's sitting in the catbird seat, but he's actually sitting in the electric chair.
Demidov will fold.
Ivan folds.
Call.
Yeah, a call with the aces. Dragomir at risk. He survived Hellmuth. Can he survive this?
I'd actually like Dragomir's chances in this hand more if he had 10-4.
Bishop in great shape to knock off Dragomir.
I want a 10. Just give me that 10.
Simple as that. He wants a 10. It doesn't get it.
It's on the chart. It should be the 10 of clubs. Yeah? 10 of clubs. 10 of clubs.
Smack the check.
It's a 10 of clubs. It's not.
Dragomir in trouble. Had Demidov played, he would have hit a set right there.
Joe Bishop, the 19-1 favorite here, will take a seat and relax, while the 19-1 underdog will plead for a card. Christian Dragomir has to have a 10.
River card is a jack. Bishop wins the hand. Christian Dragomir knocked out in 29th place.
Maybe he'll take some of his winnings over to Phil Hellmuth's house, crack open a bottle of wine, and beat him again with 10-4.
Christian made quite an impression on this field and will have an amazing tale to share with the audience of his poker TV show in Romania. So now we're down to 28 players. One more player to go before this session ends. At an outer table, a player is all in. Former chip leader and the man at the center of controversy, Nikolai Losev at risk against Nick Slowinski. Slowinski with ace high, Losev with 8 tray.
This was the Soviet pump faker, right?
Yeah. Slowinski with a chance to knock him off.
This is remarkable. 8 tray for all his chips. $1.5 million. Go figure.
And now the flop, 10-4-10. Nick's
Hold
still
up,
good.
10-10-4. No outs, or no extra outs.
I mean, wasn't Losev
not even a
chip leader
backdoor
earlier
out.
today?
He had over 9 million.
Wow.
Turn card now.
9. We're good.
Nick will tell you.
Losev needs an 8 or a 3.
Don't need an ace. It's no 3, no 8. We're all good.
He's got 2 live cards, and now the river card.
Yes!
Is a 4, and Losev is gone just like that. Slowinski takes him out. Losev will win $193,000 and finish in 28th place.
Now who's the bully?
We are down to our final 3 tables.
And down to our final 3 line as usual. Virtually every top pro gone. And as usual, it's a young group out there.
All 27 will return for a chance at the final table. For Tiffany Michelle, a chance at history. It's been a long journey, and for one of the game's greats, the road has come to an end. But for 27 hopefuls, the dream is still alive. 9 coveted seats now await at the ultimate final table for the most prestigious prize in all of poker. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. See you next time from the World Series of Poker.